Good morning, St. Louis. Welcome to the Kirk Schilling Extravaganza, at least until we find something better. It is a beautiful, swampy St. Louis summer day out there today. The only thing to make that any better is the show we're about to have. My guest today, the one and only, George Slaughter.
Good morning.
Welcome, sir. Welcome.
How are you?
I am spectacular. How are you doing, my friend?
Oh, super fantastic, man. Super
Excellent.
Fantastic.
Excellent. So we have, we got quite a lot to talk about today, so that's why we made this one. We just brought George in for the whole hour. I'll talk about a few events coming up a little bit, but, this might be one of those things where Papa Bear's over there going like this, like, you guys just got to stop talking because you just keep going. You just got to keep going. My friend, how is your world?
Man, everything's great, man. Just, I wake up every morning excited about what new and fantastic things are going to happen to me. Just like being invited on this show. I had no, pretense about it, and we just connected, and he's like, hey, man, come on the show. So, just great things just continue to happen, and I'm really excited about where we are, where we're going. Like I was just telling Papa Bear, man, even with the mountains and hills that have been thrown in front of us, man, we're just pushing forward and new direction, man. Change the tires, whatever you got to do. Keep on rolling, baby.
Excellent. Absolutely. I didn't tell him about the pie in the face gag or any of that other stuff. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, man. We wouldn't do that. That's the initiation.
I know how to duck, man.
It's like the 70s with the old paddle or something. No, we're not going there. Relax. Yeah. So, my friend George here, he is only involved in, he does nothing. He has nothing going on. He's never everywhere like I am. He's not going in 17,000 different directions.
Yeah, I sleep 14 hours a day.
Yeah, you just do that and then take a nap in the middle of the time, whatever. So, basically, George is a businessman, networker, author, spectacular human being, veteran, entrepreneur, sharp-dressed man, and anything else in between, right?
I do my best.
You try your best, right?
I do my best at all of it. Some days I'm a 9 on the scale for one thing and a 3 on the other, so you just never know,
You just never know. You got to do your day the way you do.
That's why you keep so many irons in the fire, because you just never know which one you're going to have to, that's going to get hot. So
Exactly. Well, let's jump in a few of those irons. First off, let's talk about your business, with Hot Lava Media and how kind of like you got there.
Okay.
Because you had your own business at one time.
Right. And
then let's just kind of talk about how that evolved, what you do, what you offer to customers, and then we'll just keep rolling in other stuff.
Good deal. So in 2008, late 2008, going into 2009, I started a company with 2 other guys called Quick Spark Media. Mm-hmm. And then we were, a buddy of mine came to me and says, you got the chops, man. You've done the entrepreneurial thing. After the devastation of the downturn, I was just, I'm just going to get a job and work. I still got 25, 30 years to put in on a job and retire. I gave the entrepreneur thing the best I could. And, the economy just devastated me. Mm-hmm. So I was like, so buddy of mine starts he says, hey, do these things, man. Got this idea. We're going to do SEO. And I'm like, hey, what the heck is that? We're going to do YouTube videos. What's a YouTube?
Right. Yeah, this is, we're talking 12 years ago, right?
Yeah. This was 09. Yeah. None of this stuff, all this stuff was foreign to me. Mm-hmm. And so we started a digital marketing company. And unbeknownst to me, that a lot of people were starting to learn and to really get into the digital marketing space. The cornerstone of it all was web design, obviously. Mm-hmm. So fast forward 2012, one of my business partners moved away. The other one and I had 2 different philosophies. We go in different directions. So 2012, I started St. Louis Web Pros, where we were primarily focused on great, clean web design. Mm-hmm. We didn't want to do any of the ancillary stuff. I had already, dealt with social media, trying to do too much. Mm-hmm. We were a small firm, and so Did that for the next 6 years, and then in 2018, I decided to bring my client base and my talents
right
to Hot Lava Media, and it's been a great marriage. Larry did a great job of building a great team over there, and they're a spectacular bunch. There's really not a whole lot that we don't accomplish. You know, there's always someone there to answer the phone. There's always someone there to help grow the business. They're always expanding their skill set. You know, so I went from having to do, plant the wheat, harvest the wheat, knead the dough, all to just basically
all the way to bacon, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just to basically focus on business development, and whatever new stuff that we can come up with, we would come up with new and exciting ideas.
Excellent.
So that's I love it. We got a great team, like I said. I could never say too much about those guys.
And you're based right here, in Creve Coeur, right?
Creve Coeur,
right there, right here in the St. Louis area. Yeah.
If you've ever been to Starbucks on Olive and Craig, you've been a stone's throw from my office.
As long as you're throwing it the right way, I guess.
Yeah. Although I don't throw stones in my office.
No, we don't do. You don't throw them at the office anyway, right?
There's
too much class.
That's my
there.
job. I stand in my office and throw stones.
Just throw them, see what happens. Throw stuff against the wall, see what sticks, right?
Right.
So when you're, who is kind of like your focus market? Are you a single solopreneurship or large companies? Who can you guys help out as far as their web design and things like that?
We primarily focus on the smaller businesses who want to really just either get out of the gate or build a bigger gate. Generally companies that are a sweet spot is companies that are already doing $500,000 to a couple $1 million in revenue. That's a sweet spot. But for the most part, we'll talk, we get a lot of people that are, especially nowadays with the opportunities, we all know that, down economies create entrepreneurs. So
absolutely.
We are always looking for, we're running into a lot of new people who want to start businesses, with my coaching, I coach entrepreneurs. So there's always that overlap where I can see, they're going to always need digital marketing and things like that. So primarily looking at, smaller upstart businesses that have been, but we also have clients, we also have clients that are pretty big, like Bomarito and Centene, and we do work with those companies as well. So we don't discriminate, but we just do, for as far as business development is concerned, I'm always looking for those. The sweet spot is always those mid-sized to small companies.
Gotcha. And when you meet with somebody, you can you don't just do web design. You work on those letters, those SEO things, and stuff along those lines.
Yeah, I'm back to that now, but I got a team.
You got a team that helps out with that stuff,
right? It all by myself.
Well, and that's stuff that I think that some people that are venturing in the world of digital marketing, whether it be web design or email marketing campaigns, things of that nature, they're literally walking into things blind. Most people really do not have much of a clue, unless they're, I don't want to say that, because some of the younger people that are coming up, this is all they've ever known.
Right.
But you get somebody that's in that middle age range, not that there's anybody in this room like that at all.
I'm 27.
Yeah, you just had a birthday. It was just your 27th birthday, right? Again. Well, it's only the second anniversary of it. It's okay. But there's a lot of terminology. There's a lot of pieces of the pie that most people really don't understand.
Right.
They have no idea what SEO means, what,
But they all know what they want.
They know what they want.
They
just
all
don't,
know what they want.
Yeah. I want that. What is that? Well, I don't know what it is.
Return on investment. That's
exactly. That's those important letters, that ROI. That's the most important letters that could be. Love it when I get Get phone calls in the middle. But anyway, so you kind of are able to take a business and meet with them, speak about what they want, and then kind of develop it from there, correct?
And that's kind of that. So that business model really has changed for me over the years of growth. And when I say ROI is important, is web design, I can be a little bit more flexible about the client base. But when I'm starting to do things like SEO, I really start to focus on those clients who have a large ticket. Mm-hmm. So if you're charging, if you have a product or a service that that's worth $2, $5, $10, $20, $30,000 per client, then you're a better candidate for SEO than someone who has to sell a bunch of solo cups. Mm-hmm. Solo cups do pretty well. But
people write songs about them and stuff, but yeah.
I'm thinking more in terms of what the cost of your products are.
Yeah, a smaller ticket item, you have to sell a lot of those to make up the difference.
And it's a lot. It becomes a question of, can we really help you sell, 5,000 more widgets at $3, or can I get you 3 more clients at $5,000? Mm-hmm. And I would rather deal with the latter because that makes everybody happy. Mm-hmm. That it manages its own expectations normally. The only downside is if you get nothing. Right. But based on our cost and our labor and what goes into it and the research and the things that we do, we definitely want to focus on making that client more valuable by adding 4, 6, 10, 12 new clients annually. Mm-hmm. And that is kind of our sweet spot.
Gotcha.
So real estate investors, contractors, roofers, things like that. They are a good fit because if I can get you 5 to 10 new roofs a year, it's a lot easier than, it's a lot better than if I could help you sell 5 to 10 more bottles of your $3 elixir.
Right. I haven't had any of that lately. That elixir. Usually the bottles of elixir I get are in the $40 to $50 range.
I was going to say. By the way, he brought me a nice bottle of elixir to my birthday.
Heck yes.
Yes, man.
Somebody had to go hard and go
I know, man. I'm a big fan of Lafrague, so
yeah, it's good stuff.
He showed up with a bottle of Lafrague for my birthday, man.
It's such good stuff. You know what I really know? We just have to talk whiskey because we're both whiskey nuts.
I'm a whiskey and scotch
fanatic. Exactly. So I had literally broke the rule. I mean, it's not really a rule, but as you go through your tastings, if you're tasting multiple different things, you start with a bourbon or something that's easy, smooth drinking, and you go hardcore Islay Scotch. Mm-hmm. It's gonna blow your palate out. It's gonna be like, hello, wake up, punch you in the tongue, and grab you by the ears. Yeah. Well, I had scored a bottle Eagle Rare.
Oh boy. Okay.
And I'm like, I wanted to try it.
Sure.
And I just got done with a little Lafroig, and I'm like, I can't do this right now, or can I? And I had a little bit from it earlier, and I poured a little bit, and literally I tasted that, dude, and it brought out, it was like drinking cherry vanilla ice cream.
Oh, wow.
It was like everything on my palate had gotten blasted out the top, and then all of a sudden this just slid right in underneath
nice.
there. Yeah, we can't start talking whiskey. That's all we'll talk about. You get a couple bourbon, scotch, nuts in one place, and this is why we do this at 10 in the morning, so there's not a bottle out here now, but
next time we'll do it at 5.
Next time we'll do it at 5. We'll just record it, or something like that.
You guys better be ready.
Yeah, I don't know if they can handle that, because we'll start an hour or two beforehand.
Right.
So you kind of talked a little bit about your coaching in there.
Yeah.
So let's kind of, that's something that's relatively new for you, right?
No, actually, okay, so
yeah.
Thank you both for, you and Papa Bear. You guys have always supported me, man. So, back in 2018, you were at my very first speaking engagement.
I was.
He danced on stage.
There's video.
I got video. So if you want to see the Kirk Schilling,
that is the Kirk Schilling experience right there.
Kirk Schilling experience. The Kirk Schilling, everybody.
The extravaganza.
And, so that was the beginning of my coaching in early 2018. my coaching and my book writing.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like I had learned so much from networking, learned so much from all the different people. Gosh, I mean, so many books,
Mm-hmm.
so many faces, so many conversations, so many coffees, so many interviews,
Mm-hmm.
so many just different things. And I just wanted to share my experience with people.
Mm-hmm.
And what that turned into was, people saying, "Oh, yeah, great, can we have a coffee? And I just want to pick your brain. And, can we, have a one-to-one? I just want to pick your brain."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, that stuff ain't,
Right.
my brain ain't cheap.
The brain ain't cheap. There's a lot that.
There's a lot of value up there, I believe.
Yep.
Not
Mm-hmm.
trying to sound arrogant about it, but
No, but it's
I've helped a
true.
lot of people. I mean, millions of dollars in commerce have come through my conversations and connections, and that's no exaggeration. I helped a company start an international trade company that's now a 8-figure business.
Mm-hmm.
I've helped people, get their own business off the ground, change their mindset,
Mm-hmm.
those things, and everybody around me is like, monetize it.
Right.
It's like, okay. And so I finally decided I was going to get into coaching, and when I did get into coaching, people started just falling off the vines, man. And they had no problem paying,
Mm-hmm.
which was weird to me, foreign to me. I'm like,
Right.
really? You right? So now what I do is I focus on, I was all over the place at first, but then about 6 months ago, I said, you know what? I want to be an entrepreneurial coach.
Mm-hmm.
I want to help people get from point A to point B, point C to point D,
Mm-hmm.
and building those 4 corners of their business from a startup perspective,
Mm-hmm.
which is your legal, your financial, your business plan, and your execution.
Mm-hmm.
And so once we build those four cornerstones, we have a map to get them from year 1 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
And so it can be very intense. It can be very fun. But I want people, when I'm doing my consultation, I'm looking for people that want to build a business, not just make money.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with most entrepreneurs are they're looking to hire themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the last person that they're ever going to hire.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're going to get caught up in, I got to get the revenue, blah, 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 blah. They don't have a scalability plan, any of that. If I want people who are willing to take a step back and say, hey, I need to build a foundation so that I can build a business and not just be a side hustle or a hustle or just, and those are the people that I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
People with great business ideas, with great vision, with long-term ideas that are looking for legacy type of businesses.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I've noticed that too with some of the people, because you and I are out, well, of course, since St. Patrick's Day, we've been kind of like shackled and not been out in our realm of.
You can't use the word shackled around me, man. Come on.
Okay, handcuffed, would that be better?
Only if you were like,
Dungeonized. I don't know. What are we talking? I mean, these are
Quarantine.
two quarantine.
There it is.
We can't use
That's
that
the
one.
word.
That's like a shot.
No,
it's
I get it, man.
No, but you know what I mean.
That's just part of the temperature right now.
Yeah, I know.
You gotta have a sense of humor about it.
We're obviously both very introverted people.
Yeah.
We flourish out in public, out
Yes.
with people, out networking
Absolutely.
people, out talking to people, shaking hands, bumping elbows, giving hugs and stuff like that. And I think there's been I've noticed at least a trend in people that are calling themselves entrepreneurs and going out and saying I'm building a business, but again, like you were saying, they're worried about that next dollar that's coming in.
Mm-hmm.
That's very important to them.
Yeah.
Now, just kind of your opinion, your coaching and stuff like that, there's nothing wrong with somebody that has a job
Right.
and is building a business.
No.
So, there is different steps. Some people are already just jump
Sure.
in the deep end
Sure.
and go for it.
Right.
But if you have an idea, if you have this idea of something you want to build, it's okay to be doing that while you're working a job, because
Absolutely.
then you're not concerned about every single penny that's
Right.
coming in. You can build that foundation.
Right.
You
Right.
can build that to the point that you can fire your job
Right.
and move on to building your business, right?
Exactly. And so I look at it, it's a very basic, we have two terms that we use on a regular basis. Entrepreneur and self-employed,
Mm-hmm.
right? Most of the people that you run into on a daily basis are self-employed.
Mm-hmm.
They make enough money to pay their bills and to sustain themselves by doing what they do
Mm-hmm.
without a boss.
Mm-hmm.
That's being self-employed.
Mm-hmm.
An entrepreneur, on the other hand, is a builder of a business who's actually got a business plan, who actually has a long-term strategy, who actually wants to scale, who wants to provide jobs
Mm-hmm.
for other people. You know, that's an entrepreneur. There's nothing wrong with being self-employed.
Mm-mm. Absolutely not.
By all means. You know, I know a bunch of, handyman, plumbers, blah, 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 blah. They're self-employed.
Mm-hmm.
And they may hire 1 or 2 employees. But an entrepreneur thinks a lot bigger and further than that a lot of times.
Yeah.
And then sometimes that self-employed person wakes up one day and they become an entrepreneur just based on scale.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've seen people start off with 1 truck and it's like, oh gosh, and it takes off, and now they got a fleet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then so they have to. Those are another type. That's another place where I can come in and help people scale
Mm-hmm.
and say, hey, okay, now that you've got a real business, let's see how we're going to take it to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It kind of explains scale, because hopefully there's people on here that may not understand that. It basically,
Okay.
scaling means
scaling means having a very specific plan
Mm-hmm.
on how you're going to grow your business and in what areas you're going to grow your business. Most people just want to grow their business they're focused on revenue.
Mm-hmm.
If I could just get to $1 million in revenue, then I'll feel successful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but if you got 20% of it is waste,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or if you're having high turnover, or if your equipment is bad, or all those other things, or you don't have a plan to how you're going to get from that 1 million to the 2 million, those are the scalability things that we're talking about. Scaling is having a real solid vision and a real solid plan for where you want your business to succeed and where you want it to go.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times it's about customer acquisition. A lot of times it's about how many employees you want to have, how many jobs you want to create. One of the things for me that I've been tasked with by talking to my coaches and talking to my colleagues, if I'm not creating jobs, I'm not doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what my personal goal has to be: job creation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big part of what entrepreneurship is all about. For some other people, it is a revenue generating. It is, putting people in the right place to succeed. It is mentorship. It is giving back to the community. All of those things are great. But for the most part, scaling really requires that reinvention of your business plan.
Mm-hmm.
That's really all it is. You start off with one business plan, you peak, you got your what people don't realize is that your business plan is a living, breathing
Mm-hmm.
document. It's almost like the constitution for your business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you always have to amend it, you always have to change it, you always have to, the only two things that should always, the two things that should always remain the same should be your mission and your vision statement.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you start your business because you want to help people, then that should always stay as your vision, and your mission statement should always be the same.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone in your business should know what those two things are at all times.
Absolutely. Yeah, your vision and your mission statement, if it's to make money, you need to step back and you need to think, because
You're probably going to be self-employed.
you're probably going to be self-employed, or you probably need to go and get a job. Just saying. I mean, that can't be
problem solver.
that can't be your focus, your goal. You have to. There's got to be something else behind it, what you're looking to do, and things along that line.
Yep.
So that, and obviously with your coaching and things like that and the networking, that led to the book. I mean, the book, you can still get a copy of it, right?
Oh yeah, I'm just about to order another round of copies, physical copies, to keep in my on my person in my office. But yeah, you can order it on Amazon. You can order it on.
We should tell them the name of the book.
Oh.
Look at Papa's over there going, hello, hello.
We were going to get to that.
We were going to get to that.
So.
You just got to, you look at him sometimes, just go, yeah, we'll get, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. We had Trina on here from Miracles in Progress a few weeks ago. I don't know if you ever met Trina Akins.
The name sounds familiar.
So she runs Miracles in Progress.
Okay.
And they're having an event on August 8th. This is your mention today, Trina, where they basically take kids that have terminal illnesses and things, issues like that, and it's kind of, I don't want to say it's like Make-A-Wish because it's local and it's not Make-A-Wish Foundation, but it's kind of a similar idea. They basically meet out at, it used to be St. Louis Motorsports, I think, out in Chesterfield Valley, all the exotic cars and stuff.
Yeah.
These kids go out there and they hop in like a Lambo or a Bugatti. St. Louis County Police shut down 40 out to the family arena, and they go cruising down 40 at like 140 mile an hour out to the family arena, and then they show up. They got like red carpet treatment and all that stuff.
Nice.
And she was on here. She was on here the other day, and it was a couple weeks ago, or whatever. And she brought one of their ambassador kids, and then one of the kids that actually has he had gotten, or he was in remission from a brain tumor, and then he had just found out like 2 days before that it had come back, and he's going to go to treatment again. And I'm like,
yeah.
And the kid's like giving me crap because I can't say the website right. It was so much fun. But did I have a point? Oh, yeah, because we ran like an hour and 20-something minutes, and Papa Bear's going, I'm like, we're rolling. We're just rolling. So tell it, what's the name of the book?
Post.
Yep.
The name of the book is called The Room is Better Because I'm in It. Mm-hmm. And I get asked all the time, like, sounds a little arrogant, but actually it doesn't. It's really, first of all, I wrote it from a perspective of, if you are reading the title yourself, you are saying those words. And then as you get into the book itself, you understand that it's really, the premise of it is really all about adding value to every room that you're in.
Absolutely.
I came here not to publicize myself, but hopefully somebody will take away some of the words and some of the understandings and know the difference between self-employed and entrepreneur, or whatever information I can share. My 20 plus years of being an entrepreneur, I could teach people, give people something, a handshake, a referral, a connection, a good word, before COVID, a hug.
Right, yeah. God,
man.
Miss all that.
So, yeah, I know, we're huggers too.
Yeah, exactly. Now, he started when he was 9. If you did the math from earlier, he started an entrepreneur when he was 9.
Actually, I did start when I was 9. Yeah. I delivered the Post-Dispatch newspaper when I was 9 years old. See? So, yeah, I did.
The 20 didn't add up though. We don't do age math on here. It's all good. It's all good.
I did honestly start when I was 9. I was fudging the numbers on my age earlier, but that's a very true story.
Yeah, I mean, the book is fabulous. If you haven't seen it, we'll get it shared out here on the feed. I literally opened it up. I was on a plane flight to San Diego, and I think before we got to Nevada, I think I had finished it. I just read that thing straight through, and it's a great piece. It works on, essentially, part of it is, your mindset. You got to go into a room, it's the whole old saying, you got to be a farmer, not a hunter.
Yeah.
You go in and you're going in and saying, I'm going to land me some business right here, and I'm going to get that guy right there. Yeah. Nobody's going to trust you. Nobody's going to want to talk to you. It's all about you bringing value as you walk in that door. Yeah. Not everybody can have Aloe Black, I'm the man, like I do when I walk in the room. It just plays.
Right.
Okay, I'm full of crap. But, I always joke about that. I love that song. It's a great song. It's like, I'm the man. Anyway, we don't want to get muted by Facebook for singing too much.
Oh, yeah.
But exactly, it's about what kind of value you can bring everywhere you go.
Everywhere you go. It's not about It's not about you. It will come back. It will manifest itself in some way, shape, or form. Maybe not in the time frame that you think that it will. But there's a mentality that goes along with networking that says attack, attack, attack. Get as many business cards as you can. Follow up. All that's great. However, when you start to narrow it down and people start to see that you bring value, and what people don't understand is the number one value proposition that you have is the problem that you solve, right? As whatever your business is, whatever your job is, whatever you're selling, it solves somebody's problem. Then that's the number one value proposition. So if you don't get that, you're just probably just selling, and you're not telling.
Exactly.
And it's harder to overcome objections when you're selling, but it's really not that hard when you're letting people know. Say, hey, your problem is this. You're not making enough money. So here's SEO. Here's a website. Here's social media. Here's some ways that we can help your business grow. Or we could, whatever the mentality is for the person that you're talking to, you have to kind of play off of that, and get to know the person for who they really are. People like to do business with people that they like. Period. That's just the way that it is. Even if it's a level of comfortability, some people reach it in 30 seconds. Some people reach it in 30 days. Some people never get it. But you have to build that level of comfortability, honesty, and trust. But most of all, people need to know that you care about them.
Yep.
Genuinely. Not just because, not some phony, how are your kids? It's great.
Right.
But
I didn't have any kids.
Sincere,
Remember the last time we talked? I didn't have any then. I still,
Now I got 17 cats, though.
Yeah, right.
Why didn't you remember that part?
Right, exactly. Well, I always liken it to be a chameleon, and I'm terrible about this because it's not even something I totally make a conscious effort to do, but I know that, and my wife slaps me constantly, if we're in an authentic Mexican restaurant, let's say, for example, my mind just tries to meld itself to be on the same level and the same playing field with the people I'm talking to. And all of a sudden, I pick up this Hispanic accent that I never had. It just kind of comes out. I roll my R's, and I get a burrito, por favor. And she goes, "What are you doing?" What? And it's just it's being able to morph yourself to being on the same level as somebody else.
Sure.
Getting into their realm, getting into their playing field, their comfort level, you being secure enough, and not it is an arrogance, because arrogant is not a bad word. Arrogance, if you really understand the meaning of it, is being confident in yourself to say, okay, this is where I usually play, but this person is obviously down here in this field, or up here in this field, whatever the case is, and being able to take yourself there builds that comfort level with them, so that then you can have a discussion. You can be on that same level playing field with them, and have a discussion. Like, y'all, don't get me in the South, because y'all just comes out, and I'm like, where did that come? Yeah. That one I actually catch when I do it, but
I say y'all anyway.
Yeah,
I spent a long time in the South.
Yeah. You're in Atlanta?
Yeah.
You're in Atlanta. That's right.
Yeah, 18 years.
Yeah.
And it's not only that, Kirk. It's actually just the empathy, right? Because we got this very poor definition of empathy. And a lot of times people think, oh, you broke your arm. I remember when I broke my arm, and so I can empathize with you. No, empathy has a vast, great meaning. Empathy is Kirk just won $1 million. I'm excited for Kirk. That's empathy, And so
if Kirk wins $1 million, Kirk's wife better get a hold of it first. There's gonna be a hell of a party. That's where the empathy comes in. I'm getting invited to that party.
But and that's just empathy is like watching when you watch your kid or someone win a championship. That's empathy. It's a shared emotion. And so when you walk into a room, whether you're networking or you're selling or you're trying to close a deal, whatever, and it all starts with listening and trying to understand. You know, the more you try to teach and the more you try to influence, the less you're going to have, the less empathy you're actually employing. The more you listen and the more you understand, then it becomes a lot easier for him. Because I've sat in meetings sometimes with people. I mean, there's 10 people in the room, 4 or 5 marketers, you know, and they're all trying to, and the client is sitting at the end of the table, and we are, you know, there's a bunch of different marketing companies all vying for the same business, and I'm listening to all these people in the room just throwing ideas at the person. And I'm sitting there like, you guys haven't heard a word these people say.
Right.
These people want to go in a totally different direction, but your ideas are great for someone else.
Your ideas are great because
if you want to implement them in your own business.
Yeah, that's the playing field you're on. You don't have that versatility that you've got this one like rail line you're running down versus being able to spread out and actually.
And I can tell that you implement that in your business, you know, just based on, you know, what I've seen from how what your client base is and what you're selling. You implement that in your business because you listen, and then I see the finished product and I say that there's a company that pays attention to what the client wanted, you know, and then you can look at a finished product and there'll be like, what in the world was the message here compared to what the client is wanting to say? What sometimes it's so far off, and I don't want to get negative, but sometimes the message is so far off it doesn't even line up with the company's product or service. Right.
You're going, what did I do? How many commercials are on TV like that? I mean, I try my best not to watch TV as much as possible, but yeah, it's like you look at this commercial and go, what the hell was that commercial even about? What was that? You know, and you're going, what does that company even do? I don't get it, you know?
And you see a lot of that on the micro level, you know, when you start talking about digital marketing companies and local marketing companies, they come up with an idea for someone else's business, and they're so intent on implementing it. It's so brilliant and it's so groundbreaking and it's so everything that they have to do it, and it just does not work because they didn't listen.
Oh, exactly. And there's nothing wrong with groundbreaking, but there is also something to be said about not reinventing the wheel either.
Yeah.
You know, it's somewhere in between there for everybody. Everybody's different, but you know, if you're trying to sell a car, you know, we have to see the car probably in the marketing. That would be part of it, right? Maybe an idea of the cost of said car. You know, that kind of thing. You know, having something that's totally
or your demographic is baby boomers, and you know you totally missed the mark on, you know, reaching to that particular market, however you want to, whatever the failure could be. You know, you might use, you know, the wrong terms. You might use the wrong language. You might use, you know, stuff that is going to fly over their people's heads. You know, or you might use the wrong strategies. You know, it wasn't. It wasn't till prime example when I was doing marketing, when I was on the marketing committee for the Chesterfield Chamber, back in right around time 2010, 2009. We were talking about going to an electronic newsletter, and I said, well, you know what? Let's people in the marketing committee like, well, the older people are not going to want to. They're not going to want to do it electronically. They want that physical piece of paper in their hand. And I'm like, okay. I said, well, it's very simple. Let's just do a focus group. So we would bring in all, for different people from different backgrounds, different ages. And the funny part is I'm standing there and I'm watching everybody walk in. And everybody that was in the chamber that was over 60 They sat down, and you know what the first thing they did was whipped out their iPhone. Because they like, we refuse to be left behind.
Right. Mm-hmm.
When it comes down to this technology.
Mm-hmm.
I want to FaceTime my grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to look at my emails, you know, without having to fire up a computer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it was an easy assumption that they didn't want to change, but they had already changed.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And without taking the time to really delve into it and do the focus group, we would have never found that out.
Mm-hmm.
And then the questions, of course, lined up with the fact that they wanted the new technology. You know, and so that was that was one of the early on things that we did, you know. Yeah, that had to be about 2009, 2010.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that really showed me that you don't make assumptions, you always ask the questions.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you're not going to know what that message is. You're not going to know what someone's looking for. You're not going to know anything unless you ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
You can assume all day long, but unless you start asking questions, that's how you make that connection. That's how you find out, you know, what they're looking for, what somebody is needing, what somebody wants. You know,
Right.
You can't always get what you want, but if you try, sometimes you just might find you get what you need. We'll probably get muted by the Stones for that, but that's all right. If the Rolling Stones are paying attention, we're doing good for that.
We didn't get clearance on that one.
So, speaking a little further, let's talk about the Veterans Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, yeah.
We got to dive in that. So, you are a veteran, and
I am.
Definitely go back in that. It was World War II. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
That would be my grandfather.
Right.
Remember, he's only 27 years old.
Yeah, well, this
we
time,
added 2. It's 29.
This time,
Yeah,
this time.
right.
This,
So yeah, let's talk
this carnation.
about exactly. So let's talk about you know, how you got involved with the Veterans Chamber of Commerce, your background in that, and kind of go from there.
Okay, so the Veterans Chamber of Commerce. So one of the things that I was doing that we were talking about earlier, we were doing conferences. So we wanted to do one for Veterans Day in 2018, and wanted to highlight one of my frustrations when it came down to being a veteran and talking to, you know, civilians a lot of times was that their perception of veterans was always something that was broken.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every one of us need, you know, we either had PTSD, or no legs, need a job, homelessness. And so I was like, those are not the veterans I know.
Mm-hmm.
The veterans I know run businesses.
Mm-hmm.
The veterans I know have families. The veterans I know have great jobs. They're, you know, they run corporations like Centene. Who, you know, we don't necessarily all fall into that one category.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so what I wanted to do was, when we did the conference, I wanted to highlight some great veterans from around the country who actually, were entrepreneurial leaders, speakers, coaches, things like that. And then so from that was born, we had a great conference, and from that was born the idea of what next.
Mm-hmm.
And from that idea was born the Veterans Chamber of Commerce. And the Veterans Chamber of Commerce became a passion of mine. I wrote a business plan.
See?
First. And then we started to execute. Got a great board together. And what we focus on is education, help with transition for veterans from military to the corporate world.
Mm-hmm.
And we also help veterans up their skill set. We do networking. We also do events, you know, just like any other chamber. But we're mostly our passion is to help those veterans that and have a place for veterans to come where they can actually do business with each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and know about each other's businesses. Other than just getting some certification, there's a place where we can come and just really sit down and have a great time and do business with one another. We do events all over. We give back a lot. You know, we try to we do understand that there's an aspect of the veteran life that needs our help, and so we do give back. But our main focus is definitely helping that entrepreneur, that employee, that transitioning veteran get to the next level. And we've done a great job of helping a lot of people.
Awesome. Now, right now, because we're in this world, events aren't happening all the time. But like you said, you had the oh goodness gracious, this is my brain when I don't write stuff down. You had that black tie event.
Yes, we had our gala. Our
gala.
First annual
That's
gala last year. It was an amazing event. We had a great speaker, Robert Cujo Tector, who was our keynote speaker. We had magicians. We had great food, great scotch, great bourbon. It was at the Last Hotel, which is one marvelous venue. They have just done the $200 million renovation of the International Shoe Company downtown. First class, everything. We already had it on the calendar for this year, but we scrapped it. So we're going to do our third annual. I just booked it for October 2nd of next year. So 2021.
10/2/2021.
So still going to be our third annual.
Well, might as well, right?
It's the third year, so we're not going to let this little Corona thing rob us of our second year.
Right. You can just have it like you sell T-shirts. The lost gala. Yeah.
So on actually, we're doing we are doing a one event this year on Labor Day. We're doing what we call the rooftop at the hotel with the swimming pool and all of that. But what we're going to do is, instead of just inviting a bunch of people up or having a bunch of people come in and pay to be up there, we're going to do cabana style, 6 people to a section. And if you want to interact with the other people on the roof, that's great. If you want to get in the pool, that's great. But there'll be bottle service for your group. You have a group of 6, bottle service, and we'll just be up there. We'll do a nice little end of summer party. And it's going to be, the 6 people that you're going to bring, or 6 people that are going to be in your group, just come up there and have a great time. And so we're doing that on Labor Day. It's going to be a day party. Really looking forward to that.
Absolutely.
So we're starting to market for that.
Gotcha.
That's going to be our one event. That's going to turn into an annual event as well. So we were originally going to do it on Memorial Day and do the whole blowout and have 300 people up there, but
right, fooled you.
Right. What we ended up doing was we did a fundraiser, and we ended up feeding all of the veterans at the Freedom House on Memorial Day. So since we had the success with that, we're going to turn feeding the Freedom House into a annual event on Memorial Day.
Very cool.
Then we're going to move the other thing back to Labor Day.
Excellent. So where can people find out about that event? To buy tickets, things of that nature and stuff.
It's going now. We're not selling individual tickets.
Okay.
We're selling group tickets where you get the entire cabana, the bottle of your choice, and you get to invite 5 people total, 6 people total.
Okay, gotcha.
And that information is forthcoming.
Okay.
We are still waiting for some information back from the hotel.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
So in the meantime, anybody that knows me or want to contact me directly through social media or through my numbers, then by all means do so.
Absolutely.
So I will definitely keep you posted.
Yeah, keep me posted. That way we can get that shared out there, because that sounds like an event we definitely want to get sold out there.
Oh yeah, and we're only doing 10.
That's okay.
So there'll be 60 people total in a place that holds 300.
Yep. But we want to get those 60 tickets all sold.
Oh yes, we do.
So that'll be
we do.
That'll be important.
Absolutely.
Excellent. What else you want to talk about, man? What else we got a few minutes here left.
Well, I think I think I've talked about myself enough and all this crazy stuff that I'm doing. So I really just I really want to ask you some questions about what do you think some of the things that we should be focused on as we move forward.
Okay.
Based on, we just gone through a really interesting time.
You got that right.
And I think we would be remiss in not talking about what's really going on in the world.
Mm-hmm.
From whatever the COVID thing to the relationships and things like that are going on, without getting political about it. I just think that my perspective is that we are at a time, we're at a serious crossroads, and I think that we have an opportunity to either make it to do some great things, or we just have the opportunity to stay the same.
Mm-hmm.
Because regression, I don't think that's going to happen, but I think we have an opportunity to do some great things. I think I've seen a lot of great attitudes, a lot of great support from people, and a lot of entrepreneurship blossoming.
Mm-hmm.
And people are continuing to be optimistic.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I think that's one of the greatest things about our country, man. We're resilient. Resiliency is just, it's just ingrained in us.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I got hit by a car. Well, at least it wasn't a truck.
Well, yeah, exactly. Right,
You know?
right. Absolutely. Yeah, I think, my wife would beg to, if anybody ever hears anything pessimistic come out of my mouth, it's my wife, and then she usually yells at me, and I'm like, okay, yeah, It's like a vent, you got somebody these stuff bottled up, and unfortunately, she's the one that has to listen to me. But, no, she's a guiding force to be like, shut up. Like, okay, I get it. I'm speaking. She yells at me if I talk political at all on her. So don't talk political.
No, we don't have to.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but no, I think you're right. Where I think, I think there's a lot of emotion right now. There's a lot of things that have gotten brought out, not only by, the events that happened in Minnesota and are still going on in other parts of the country and things like that, but also the isolation that took place in some people, for some people. It's been, for me, part of me was just absolutely like being driven to death because it's like thank God for Zoom, but but at the same time, there has been a lot of areas of the world that by being isolated, it's brought out some really and honestly dangerous situations. There's been some I've heard some really bad stories about domestic situations that all of a sudden were really brought to the forefront because there was no escape time. People were all kind of stuck together, and I think at the end of the day, you see so much crap and it's crap. Most of social media is honestly crap. Let's be frank about it.
It is.
And
it is
stuff that's on TV and things like that. It take a minute away. Go pick up a book. I know a great book you can get.
The funny thing is that I for the first time in my lifetime, I don't think any single individual actually knows what to believe.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they're putting it out there, I don't think there's still some element of unresolved questions in their head, because nothing is solidified. There's you're getting bits and pieces of all but there's no one voice. There's no one thing that says, this is exactly how it works. This is exactly what you do. This is exactly how you handle it. Everything is like, maybe.
This sounds.
He said that.
He said that.
Yeah,
and
but then
this sounds believable. And this guy's been around for 40 years. Maybe he knows what he's talking about.
Exactly. It's like, what? And what you have to do is, my opinion is that you just have to live within the parameters of what you understand. And as long as and hopefully, and make sure that it doesn't affect your fellow man. If people want you to wear a mask, wear a mask. If people don't want you, if people don't mind, then they don't mind. it's up to you.
Right.
You know, I just think that we should just take the time to take a step back and say, what do I actually get out of this? What do I actually believe?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to go with your gut, man.
Yeah. Oh,
You
absolutely.
just have to go with your gut. And
Hmm.
I pray for all of us every day, man, that not just healing, but understanding.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think it goes with, you see it all the time, but if you really take the idea to heart that you have to be the change you want to see in the world.
That's absolutely correct.
And if you think that something needs to be changed, you've got to live your life that way and not worry about, because that guy over there or that lady over there,
Mm-hmm.
you just yelling things at them is not going to change their mind.
No.
If anything, it's going to make them seize up tighter
Right.
and not be open to anything.
Yeah.
You know, you have to live your life the way you want to see the world.
Mm-hmm.
And
then you're going. I'm a firm believer in that we all create our own worlds,
mm-hmm.
right? And when I say that, I'm not being super existential. I'm just saying that the people in this room right now are a part of my world
Mm-hmm.
because they fit. You fit. Papa Bear fits. We have great energy with each other. That's my world.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else,
Calls it.
everyone else, you know, some people just bounce off. They don't
Mhm.
fit, you know, and then so we if we just, it's not a bubble, but it kind of is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think we kind of all live in our own little bubbles, and a lot of times what happens is people try to reach too far outside of their bubbles and try to force other people to believe what they believe,
Mhm.
and that's the hard part. You
Mhm.
know, don't try to force your beliefs on other people. Just go with the flow.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
so.
be open to when somebody has an idea that maybe
Soapbox.
isn't. Yeah, we'll put it back down. But be open to ideas and things that maybe aren't exactly the same. You know,
Yeah.
just because.
Logical conversation.
Yeah, logical conversations and open debates are the
And
lifeblood.
I'm always open
of
for
a-
those.
Oh, exactly.
Everybody knows that about me.
Right, exactly. And you may never honestly ever change anyone's opinion about anything, and really that's not the point of it. The point is to have an open discussion about something that at the end of it we may still have our same views on things, but I understand what you're talking about.
Right. Or even if I don't understand, I have given you the opportunity to try to help me understand.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you're going to ask the qualifying questions. You know, don't tell me that something doesn't exist that I believe exists.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If I believe it exists, ask me why,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll ask you why you believe it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then we can have a conversation about it. Okay, makes sense to me, or it doesn't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
But at least we try to come to some common ground.
Absolutely.
You know, instead of just throwing darts at each other.
Exactly.
Which is a lot that's going on.
Oh, there's a ton of that going on, that's for sure. All you got to do is open up one of those
Yeah.
things
Threads.
there and you just go, wow, okay. So one of the best features that is on any of that social media is the snooze buttons and the
Yeah.
mutes. And boy, there
They
is.
call them threads, but most of them
Yeah.
just are all needles.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of needles, not
A lot
much
of
thread,
needles,
not much sewing
threads.
going on. That's for
Yeah.
sure. Well, I want to thank you, my friend, for being on here today.
Oh, man.
Hang out for a second. Got a couple of quick events I want to talk about here real quick. Always animal rescue gets talked about a lot here, and Charlie, I don't know if you guys remember Charlie, the dog up in Granite City that had acid or something dumped on him and was really burned and stuff like that. He's healed up. He's been adopted. But the rescue that helped him out, they are working right now on having a yard sale up at 2700 Edwards in Granite on August 14th and 15th. Sorry. So what they're looking for, if you have any kind of donations for infants and kids' clothes, find Pound Pets Rescue on Facebook. It looks like they're going to try and do something in October. This is kind of the only fundraiser they can do right now. But there's tons of adult clothes that are in great shape. They got kids' baby clothes, toys, pictures, kitchen items, things like that. So all the money that's raised by that will be going to Pound Pets and help them do things they do like they did for Charlie. Papa, I'm going long today, but, who knows? It'll be fine. You'll be okay. I wore this shirt today because the official announcement was made. Two of the greatest events in my hometown of Belle Vegas in Belleville, Illinois, Oktoberfest and Chili Cook-Off, have officially been canceled because of the coronavirus, because obviously when you have 10,000 people shoved in a few city blocks, that's not going to work very well. So that is what it is. It's a sad day. Gonna miss a chili cook-off, things like that. Last Saturday we talked about the race in Highland, Illinois, the aggressive UMP Summer Nationals. They raised a ton of money for Brett's First Responders. The event was awesome. It was hot. It was very sweaty. It was very dirty. It's dirt track racing. That's what happens. You end up just with dirt stuck to you everywhere. Wife got hit with a rock from somewhere that came from the track, busted her knee open. But at the end of the day, the last race of the night, for those that don't know, Brett's First Responders was created due to Brett Corvus getting killed in April of last year by someone doing over 100 mile an hour on page. We'll get into all the details, all that. But Brett's First Responders was created because we have Backstoppers out there, which is designed to help the families of first responders that are killed in the line of duty. When a first responder is killed outside of the line of duty, that's not Backstoppers' playing field. So that's what Brett's First Responders was created for, was to help those families who have a first responder that's either injured or killed outside of the line of duty. Her name just flew out of my head, but the firefighter in Kinloch that got shot in the Applebee's. They were able to make a donation to her medical expenses, which is awesome. So there was a ton of money. It was raised. It was a great night. And then Brett's uncle, Denny, actually won his feature race, which was quite emotional and awesome. Only thing I got to mention, Northwest Golf Chamber of Commerce Golf Tournament on July 31st. There are still a few foursomes available. If you're interested in doing that out at Bear Creek in Wentzville, get a hold of me on that. I think that's it. Once again, George, I want to thank you, my friend, for coming on here and filling up the hour. It's been a great one. I missed you. I turned my head. Make sure you check that out. We'll get some information out there about the Veterans Chamber of Commerce events. Check out Amazon. Look for George's book, The Room is a... Oh, geez, I just screwed it up. The Room is better for me being in it, right? Is that right?
The room is better
because I'm in it. This is me when I don't write things down. It's that's
okay.
Where I get in trouble, right?
Okay.
There's Trina popping in. Miracles in Progress coming up August 8th. Other than that, we've babbled long enough. We'll work on the late night whiskey show that we'll do, and that'll just be whatever. St. Louis, be good to each other. We will see you next week. Peace.